it's 6:30, so let's actually get started, and as people roll in, because I have no idea how many people are coming, right? And I don't want, I don't want people to miss stuff, so it is going to be recorded. But I'm just going to go through a little bit of off-the-cuff explanation of the show, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. The reason why I'm holding this big informational session is because Maestro, I went to a Spanish place for a moment. Maestro is actually how you pronounce it, is more of a short form / scene challenges type of show, and that's not necessarily what we put on stage a lot here or teach a lot here. So I wanted to just give people a heads up about the show. It was invented by Keith Johnstone in Utrecht in the Netherlands a while back, and it was perfected more at the Loose Moose, his theater in Calgary. Keith Johnstone is like an improv guru. He wrote the book Improv and Improv for Storytellers. He's really cool guy, if not sometimes problematic, because he's from the old world. Hey, Karen, come on in. So, the way that the show works, we will have about 12 to 15 players on stage at the beginning of Maestro. Each of those players will have a number, and that number will correspond to numbers that the director also has in a bucket. Right, and I will grab a pile of numbers, 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what I might want to see for a particular challenge, and those numbers will be called up to play together to do a scene. At the end of that scene, the host will ask the audience to score the scene, and by saying, is that a 1? Is that a 2? Is that a 3, a 4, or a 5? A 1 is a scene that they do not like. A 5 is a scene that they love. Audiences tend to score very high. So it is on the scorekeeper to really challenge the audience to give it to the players, right? And if a scene goes badly, it's the director's fault, right? So it's not the player's fault at all. The spirit,
but somebody's at fault.
Yeah, yes. And we want to cultivate a fun, competitive vibe, but really support is built into this show because all the players in that scene get the same score. So it behooves every player playing a scene to do the best that they can. Most of our audience members are improvisers, so they can tell when someone is screwing someone else over, and probably won't like that. So support is really built into the show. Really, the whole night is just supposed to be a fun celebration of the crazy things that improvisers can do and play, and the challenges that we can all give one another, and kind of a mock parody of a directed rehearsal format. Hey, come on in, Wilfredo, glad you're here. So really, the show goes. The show is more important than any individual improv, or scene. So it's competitive, but support each other, right? An example: if a scene is not going very well, somebody from the sidelines and the cast can jump in to do a thing to help that scene. And then later on, they can decide whether or not they want to be scored with that scene, right? If they say yes, they probably have high hopes that the scene will get a good score. If they say no, right, they're saying basically, this was fucking sucked. And it's just an honest, fun moment in the show, right? But again, if any scene goes badly, it's the director's fault. And the host, right, and Karen Coleman, everybody, in case you do not know, Karen, welcome. Karen's a performer on one of our new Saturday teams. She's also been performing with Untitled for a while. She was on Zalgau House team way back in the day. She performs regularly with the N Crowd and hosts the show there. So Karen really knows her stuff, right? Oh no, just letting people know. So Karen's gonna host the show, and there should be a fun animosity between the host and the director. I'll be directing the first thing, and Chris Esperance will also be there on the first week. So the whole evening goes, and after the first round, which means everybody who has a number has played at least one scene, right? All the numbers go back into the bucket, and we eliminate the lowest scoring players from the thing. Right, so if you're a low scoring player, right, and you know, I'll call for elimination, and the best way to react is like, oh gosh, oh no, oh, right? And then you get eliminated, and you're really anxious, and that, but afterwards you're just relieved that you're out of the show, right? You take your bow, and you should stay and watch the rest of the show and support. The whole thing is just supposed to be a really fun, high energy, celebratory vibe, right? As a matter of fact, I think I'll probably do some unfair things at the beginning so everybody can just relax their crack and know it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, it's not really a fair format, right? If it was fair, everybody would get the same challenge and be scored on it, and that's not a good show. But I love it as an opportunity for players to mix with one another and get to play with players that they don't get to. Maestro, I think, is best when it has a range of experience levels of performers out there. So we invited people who have been company members for a long time and have a lot of experience under their belt, and brand new students can be part of Maestro. And it's just fun because in the format, a new student might be paired with a very experienced player and get a high score for a scene and ride that out all the way through to become the Maestro, right? So that is, you know, that's exciting to me and fun to me. And again, it's all about just supporting each other and loving improvisation. One of the images of Maestro is that all of these improvisers have been sort of unleashed from the cage, right, to do the master's bidding, whatever it may be, right, poorly or well, right? And so we will have elimination rounds. I will give a mix of challenges. Some of them will be really easy. Some of them will be really hard. And that is to create intentional peaks and valleys in the show. Intentional high scores and low scores, because that's what creates an exciting Maestro, right? If audience had its way, it would give every single scene a 4. That's just what it would do, right? So we really, the scorekeeper, host, and myself will be pushing for that actually not to be the case. There can be solo challenges, right, when it gets really way down to it. There can be large group challenges because I realize the format's running a lot and we've got to eliminate a whole bunch of people, right? And I just want to invite you, if you're interested, to sign up again and again because we're going to need 12 to 15 players every week. Cool. Right? And particularly if you're interested in directing Maestro, I will tell you that not everybody will be invited to direct Maestro. It is someone who probably has a range of scene exercises at the ready, somebody who has experience running rehearsals and giving and speaking to improvisers about improv, leading them through challenges and stuff. That, you know, let me know if you have an interest in doing that, and maybe you can assist a director if your experience isn't quite there yet, right? But you want to learn. So that being said, is there any questions or holes that you have in your information that you want me to try in this small amount of time to fill?
Can we? You said that we can keep signing up to play. Not
Yes.
going to direct.
Yes, so I did Maestro from September to October, so I really only cast the 27th. So some people who either didn't put themselves as available for the 27th or that I just didn't happen to select will probably be getting an email over the next week, letting them know that they're going to be in the 4th or down the road. If you haven't signed up yet, do sign up. If you're a company member, sign up in the company members one. If you're a student, sign up in the training center. I do want a mix of students and company members playing together. I definitely want a mix of people on Wednesday and Saturday teams playing together, and people who do different things. I'd love for sketch people to, I call them sketch people. I'd love for those sketch people to do it as well. Throw their hat in the ring. It's just supposed to be a fun time. Good question.
Remind me, how do we sign up?
So there is a Google application where it's just a form that you fill out, letting you know your name, your email, and what your role here at PHIT is, and when you're available to play.
Okay.
So, depending on interest, not everybody who asks will get to play, but have a range of dates, and it's likely that I'll use everybody because I need so many people to do it. Maestro is a very successful format. My mom has been watching Improv for a long time. We had a killer show at the Future in Toronto, right? And this is not just to talk about the future or whatever. But hey, Kyle, come on in. But after she saw us in a Maestro show, she's like, oh, I like that one. Right? So people really enjoy Maestro. I think it's a great way for people who have never seen improv before to get introduced to it. And for, like I said, newer students in the training center to play with really experienced people. Any other, Kyle, we'll fill you in, questions about the format?
So we're trying to get to one at the end?
At the end, and the Maestro at the end will receive a crown and a framed $2 bill, which they can give back at the end of the show, because we are poor. It's a mock celebration, right? And everybody who is in the show up to that point will applaud for them, but we actually probably will keep track and celebrate on social media and all other things who won Maestro this week, right? And their picture and accolades and all of that stuff. It can be a really exciting thing because, again, really experienced improvisers could be eliminated very early, depending on how the particular challenge they were in went. And very new improvisers who just, for some reason, are in a zone or hit a lucky streak with the challenges and how the scenes they're in go, could end up being crowned Maestro. And I think for that alone, it's really worth it. Any other questions about the format?
Can you give us an example of a scenario scene?
Yeah. So a lot of times, directors and myself, who will be directing this week, will probably pull from short form games. So you may not be familiar with these short form games, but the game New Choice or Ding, right, where I just ask you to change the last thing that you said or did and change it to something different in the scene, or gibberish scene, right? Or we could have sit, stand, lie be a challenge where one actor is always standing, one is always sitting, one is always lying down, and they have to switch through those things while maintaining all three positions in the scene. But I also could just see anything I want to see. So for example, a challenge, maybe if two improvisers are really head-to-head late in the game, I might tell them, all right, I want to see an I love you scene where both of you are going to say I love you to the other person throughout the course of the scene, and whoever we believe more will win, right? It's like a challenge like that, right? Or just a silly large group challenge of maybe telling a punny jokes, or all of you are in a dance troupe and you're creating a abstract expressionist piece. Tech hit some music, here we go. How did we like what they did? Right? So it'll just be silly. Yeah, good question. So hopefully, at least for the first couple of weeks, I'll definitely be talking to the directors and pulling directors who do have short form experience, just because I know they have a ton of games at the ready. Yeah. Hey, Madison! No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So we've gone through everything. No. This is good. There's actually Kyle also wandered in late. So Maestro is a super fun format that has actually, if you ever go to Canada, you'll probably play it, right? If you're a guest at the theater, or you'll probably see it because they run the format all the time, and it's a very popular format there. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it to PHIT. It's a competitive game where 15 players each get assigned a number that correspond to numbers that I have in a bucket, right? If I need 2 players, I'll draw 2 numbers, and then I'll give those 2 people a challenge. The challenge might be incredibly difficult, or it might be super fun, easy, right? Get off easy. And then at the end, the audience will score the scene. And they will say, was that scene a 1? And then the host, scorekeeper in this instance, which will be Karen, if you don't know her, she's amazing, right? Will that be a 1? And if there's no applause, it's not a 1. Is that a 2? Right, it might be a little bit. Is that a 3? We get some maybe more hearty applause from the audience. 4 or 5. 5 being the best possible score. After a round is over, which means I've pulled all the numbers out of a bucket and we've gone through the challenges, then we will eliminate the lowest scoring players, right? Everybody in a scene gets the same score. So that kind of eliminates competitive play within the scene, right? The improvisers want the scene to go well, right? But really, any and all competition is just a facade that we put on the whole thing, and the whole spirit of the thing, right, should be one of benevolence, generosity, high energy, fun, and yeah, and we should really celebrate improv. And just celebrate, you did that really well, right? Like, that's great, you're the maestro for the night. Hey babe.
Hey.
So that is part of, yeah, that's part of the spirit of the whole thing. So hopefully that catches you up and is a recap for other folks. We're also taping this for anybody who didn't get in. Yeah.
So if we don't know a game, what do we do? Like, are we just screwed?
If you don't know a game, it's incumbent on the director to explain exactly what they want the improviser to do. Even very experienced improvisers might not know or have any experience with the challenge that I'm giving them unless they've been doing short form for years and years, right? Which, thinking of the people that I've invited to do the show, is not many, right? So,
likely be very specific with the instruction,
yeah.
right? So,
Yes.
Yeah. So it would be like you just cannot use the letter R and then it works, and that's how you.
And again, if a scene goes poorly, it is the director's fault. Yeah, that's a short form game we play. It's called No Key.
Think about it.
Yeah, or not, right? Just like run head first into trouble, right? Which is.
Whose line is it?
Oh yeah. If you've ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, you have a good idea of like maybe some of the games that we might be giving people to do. But yeah, if you don't know a particular game, you're likely on equal footing with your scene partner. But if a scene goes bad, it's the director's fault. In this instance on Wednesday night, it will be my fault. Because actually the director can jump in and direct the scene as it is going. Right? So I can give side coaching. Anybody who's ever been side coached by me knows I do it terribly inelegantly. It messes with your flow, it stops you, freezes you in your tracks, and usually you're going, what? So because of the director's ability to influence the scene that's happening, if it doesn't go well, it's their fault. Usually I'll ask the cast before Maestro, what's something that terrifies you? What's something that you love to do? I'll take both of those into equal consideration, and when you come up, I might give you a challenge along those lines, right? So I'm gonna have some things that are in pocket, but also I might just look at the people who are up there and go, you know what? I want to see you guys do this, right? And that's me. Any other director might do it completely differently. Yeah. Any other questions about Maestro?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a rotating cast of directors? Like, is it going to be like every week it's going to be a new director?
Yeah, I think I'd like directors to stay on for like about a month.
Okay.
But yeah, it will change up. I don't know how regularly. In the instance someone's not available, it'll probably be me or anyone else I can convince. Because it does take a little bit of prep work to direct for anyone here who might be interested in it. You have to have some games at the ready for large groups of people, solo challenges, and anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 players at a time, depending on how many you need to eliminate, right? I mean, most of this stuff, like I said, it's not a fair format, right? And I intend, if possible, to do something incredibly unfair at the beginning of Maestro, just so everybody can relax their crap about it, right? Like, know that it's not really up to you, right? It's just kind of something that you're doing, you're performing. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this an hour-long show?
It's an hour-long show, yes. Hour-long. It takes that long to get to eliminate 15 people. Yeah.
I saw somewhere someone was doing it for 2 hours. I was like, hey.
It can be a 2-hour show with an intermission, and the second half is like much faster. But yes, people do run the format for 2 hours, which is insane.
The first one is not next Wednesday, but following Wednesday?
First one's the 27th, so it's next Wednesday.
Oh, it's already, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's the 20th today. Yeah. I will be following up potentially with a Maestro guide that the Theater Sports has given. This is a licensed show, by the way, for Theater Sports. So if people find out you're running the show without having the license, they'll come and shut you down. Right? Cease and desist. So we've had a Theater Sports license here at the theater for a long time. You also have to particularly get a Maestro license. So we now are in possession of both of those things, and we can legally run the format. Yeah.
Is next week filled up already?
Next week is filled up already, but if you haven't applied yet, I mean, I'm going to need 12 to 15 players every week from now until the show, Mike decides to stop doing the show, which could be tomorrow. No, he'll wait until after the first one, and then it'll be like, no. No, it should be a good time. So if you haven't, it's still accepting things for October. So if you want to put in your name, put in your name. I intentionally want to mix tiers and experience levels of players in this. I think our company members benefit from it. I think our students benefit from it, and I think the whole thing just feels good when people can just play together. And I know it has this competitive facade, but it really is meant to be super supportive. And don't take yourself so seriously, and this work so seriously. I don't think improv is ever helped by taking it really, really seriously. I mean, we all love improv. It's why we're here, I'm assuming, and value it very much. But at the end of the day, we have to be more stupid about it. Yeah. Good. Any other questions about Maestro? Yeah. I would be an oak tree. That's my answer for now. Don't hold me to that. And I think maybe 5 minutes from now it'll be a weeping willow. And then we'll get oak tree again. Thank you for the question.
Where do we find the document again?
So I posted it in the training center, and for company members, there's also it in the Slack, the company member Slack. Yeah.
And it's fixed with the name. I signed up when it first went up, and the name.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I had the form there without tell me what your name is. But I figured everybody out. I did figure everybody out. So. That should be fixed. Also, the first time I posted it wasn't accepting responses. And I changed that. So, should be accepting responses, and I should be able to know who you are based on the way you fill out the form. Good. Thank you, everybody. And spend a moment just to meet people if you're not sure who they are. Please. This is great. Yeah.
What's the call time for the show?
7 o'clock. Shows at 7:30 on Wednesday. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Very excited. Very excited.